Hey y'all, it's Chimdi. So I'm feeling really excited because I have broken through the emotional barrier. Broken through isn't the word. I have met and I have transcended the emotional barrier to actually making daily YouTube videos. And I have to give a shout out to my friend who is such a huge ChatGPT fan. Like, her love of ChatGPT is so strong that it actually convinced me to start opening up emotionally to ChatGPT. I'm not saying I recommend this, but I do appreciate that it allowed me to connect to a vulnerability in my own heart and in my own spirit around showing up consistently. I think the important thing wasn't the advice that ChatGPT gave me, which was nice enough, but it was, high level generic, but it was really just the process of me speaking out loud what I was feeling, right? And like letting it be witnessed by someone outside of me, which I do a lot of process work, but all my process work is largely with myself, right? And as I was sharing with ChatGPT, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this video, I'm trying to balance out, resting and relaxing and honoring my natural feminine rhythms with also this commitment that I made, and the fact that as a creative coach, what I support people with is consistency. So I have to be consistent so that I can let the people know that, all this stuff, right? I was telling my friend that I was, going through this process and sharing it with ChatGPT, and she said something that was more valuable than anything ChatGPT said, which was that what's coming up for me now, it would have come up for me anyway, right? If it wasn't within the context of this 30-day challenge, it would have come up in some other context around me making a commitment to myself and then actually having to show up consistently. And there are lots of other places in my life where I've made commitments, such as becoming a Pilates girly, right? Where I'm like, yeah. And I do it like for 3 days. And on the 4th day, I'm like, okay, my abs hurt. And then slowly peters off. Though I have to say I am now back to basically doing some kind of Pilates movement every single day. It just resonated so deeply, like, oh, this thing that I'm working through via this YouTube challenge is not about the challenge. It's about how do I meet that discomfort of, can I actually make myself proud? Can I actually do what I said I was gonna do? It really helped me break through this idea of, looking at the bottom of the mountain, climbing up and being like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, to feeling an excitement around, oh, I have made a video every single day for the last, I don't know when this video is gonna go live, but something like 13, 14 days, right? I've said a lot of things, I've shared a lot of things, and there was this excitement of like, oh, what am I gonna share next? Like actually looking on my YouTube channel and seeing video after video after video and realizing, oh, at the end of 30 days, I'm gonna be able to scroll, and it's gonna take like multiple scrolls for me to actually see all of the videos that I made in this 30 days. And that got me so excited, so excited. And I think the shift from trepidation to excitement is the power of doing the process work, right? It gets to transform your experience. And then I was hanging out with Neville Goddard this morning, and a lot of what I listen to from Neville Goddard, it tends to be the same thing over and over again about, your imagination and, go to bed, hold the vision, stay committed, have the clarity, all these things, right? I found a video this morning that had a total different, it was like deep metaphysical, like transmission type stuff. And I was like, oh, this is not the Neville that I knew. And something that he said that really resonated was this idea that anytime we experience resistance, we should actually be excited. That's a good thing because it means that our bigger, broader, expansive, true self, who is actually limitless, is inviting a part of us that believes in some kind of limit to transcend that limit. And so every resistance is our smaller self coming up against our larger self, and there's the invitation to transcend. And that is so exciting and cool to me, and it made me think that YouTube really is, there are like a lot of different ideas I've had that all are kind of in the same world, which is that YouTube is really beautifully designed to help you transcend, your limitations. It's like this laser focus, especially when it comes to like shadow work, I think. It is really laser focused, and it helps you understand What are the things that you believe about yourself? What are the limits that you think you have on how you can express yourself, on who you can connect to, on the impact that you can have, and the process of inviting yourself to show up every day in some way to support your creativity. Maybe you aren't making a video every day. Maybe you have to edit that day. Maybe you have to research an idea. Maybe you have to email a brand. Maybe you have to email another YouTube creator to do a collaboration. Every day, if you're doing something towards your YouTube channel, it's asking you to expand in some way. And I used to think that I would sort of go through the trials and tribulations of being a YouTube creator, and I would somehow graduate from it and then not run into any other creative challenges. I really think I thought I would be done. Same thing with the healing journey. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go through this process work. I'm gonna do a bunch of weeping. Give it a couple years, I'll be done. I'll be done with my healing. It'll be a wrap. And I actually just had a call with a coaching client, and I brought up the example of Jessica Williams. If you remember, she used to work on The Daily Show, and when Jon Stewart was leaving the show, people were like, oh, maybe she should be the one to take the show over, right? It was really interesting because she herself was like, yeah, no thanks, right? She didn't actually want it, but there were all these outside voices saying you should do it. And there's this really interesting video where she's at some kind of dinner with other women in Hollywood, and you like see them cut her off and all these things. And so these dynamics that we experience when it's in a more sort of smaller bubble of YouTube or working one-on-one with people or in our just community or in our friends, as we are in these challenges, they're not gonna go away if we don't address them. They're gonna follow us to the next opportunity. And if anything, they're the thing that we need to transcend so that we can be a fit for the next opportunity. It helps you to have that understanding and that framework so that when you run into a challenge, you're not like, but instead you're like, yay, awesome, this is gonna help me. And to do it in a genuine way, because I know I made a video about something and I kind of similarly joked about, yes, process work, but I was mad about it. I was annoyed because I thought I should somehow be done, and I thought I would eventually be done. But now I'm like, oh, interesting, something's coming up. That means there's a bigger, broader, more beautiful, more expansive version of me that's saying, hey, Chimdi, I'm here. If you want to come on over, hang out with me. I'm like, okay, you seem cool. Let me see what's going on over there. And it's just been such a mindset shift, and I really appreciate it. And one of the mindset shifts that's really helped, and sort of an ongoing limitation I believed about myself when it came to creating on YouTube, was that I needed to do a bunch of effects and a bunch of editing in order to make my channel successful, right? And I love editing, and I'm really good at it too, I think. And so there's also a part of me that wants to show off what I can do. And because it does take time and effort and energy, I couldn't really find a way of sort of pouring into every video the way I wanted to while still being consistent without getting burnt out. And so I'd often find that I would get into these periods of not a lot of editing, and then the videos wouldn't do as well. And so I would tell myself, it's because you didn't edit that the video didn't do well. So this was a belief that I had. And what I would always tell myself was like, no, Chimdi, but you made that video about quitting weed, and that video did well. You didn't even like put your name. You didn't even do the little, hey, it's Chimdi, and put your name. You did nothing. And people still resonated because of your energy and your spirit and because of the topic that you were talking about. And listening this morning to Neville talk about, you know, the whole point is for us to transcend these limitations, it allowed me to reframe sort of what I do on this channel in the form of, I'm just getting on here, I'm sharing a message, I'm sharing some inspiration, some motivation, hopefully some witnessing, something that resonates with you. That is the whole point. That is the start and the finish. And if I think of it more like this is a video podcast and I'm sharing a daily message, that'll reduce some of the pressure and the strain. And it'll help me show up consistently, because I won't be thinking I need to do a whole song and dance. I'll just be thinking, what is today's message that I want to share with people? And that sort of resets expectations too. And the important thing is that it allows me to show up consistently, because I was thinking before I got over this hump, I was like, I do not know how I'm going to make it to 30 days. I'm already feeling tired. You know, my consulting work is picking up. Like I've got, you know, one-on-one clients. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. And then I kind of had this breakthrough, and I'm like, oh, if you just change your mindset, you can do anything. And that's really the truth of it, right? So I'm excited to keep sharing my messages, and I feel like this is a beautiful way to kind of bring back the spirit of Voice Notes from Your Friend, which is this podcast I had. And that podcast was very stream of consciousness, like whatever was going on in my spirit. There was something more vulnerable about it because it was just audio, and because it had a smaller audience, it didn't feel so scary to just share and talk, because I didn't feel like it was going out to tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of people. Like I was like, no, it's just like my small community of people who really care. And I'm really excited to kind of have that energy, and then knowing that this is like a more intimate space, when it grows, it'll be something that's like, oh, what a treat, versus thinking, oh, I should be making things to reach this really big audience, and it's not reaching that audience, and now I feel bad. And again, I want to emphasize that what's allowing me to have this kind of flowy attitude towards my creativity is the inner work, which has also allowed me to make lots of money off of YouTube so that I'm not depending on every YouTube video to go viral so that I can, you know, pay my rent, right? Like part of why I was so focused on, okay, I've got to be really successful as a creator is because I didn't see any other financial opportunities. So doing the work of really connecting to abundance has allowed me to like bring those opportunities in. They come flowing, they're easy, it's fun. And then I get to make the videos that I wanna make, which is such a blessing. Creating how you wanna create, free from limitations, is the biggest blessing. And every single person, every single YouTube creator gets to have that, and I want that for you. So if you want some support showing up consistently and authentically on your YouTube journey, you can find time on my calendar at chimdihaziate.com. If you want some free support, free coaching, free encouragement, free community, you can join me every Wednesday for Hello Creators Weekly Digital Creator Roundtable. That's Wednesdays at noon Eastern Time. All right, y'all, bye.